The bustling city was a place of dreams and ambitions, but Grace's corner shop, tucked away on a quiet street, seemed to be unnoticed by most. The shop was small, barely 500 square feet of space, with cracked windows and a worn sign hanging above the door. Yet for Grace, this was her world. It was her vision, her dream, her future. Every morning, she opened the door with hope in her heart, despite the quiet whispers and judgments from passers-by. Her shop was everything she had worked for, and she wasn't going to let anyone convince her otherwise. But the world around her was unforgiving. Every day, people would walk past her shop without a second glance. The large corporations in the city, with their glossy advertisements and sleek designs, overshadowed her humble establishment. Grace knew that her business was small, but that didn't mean it lacked value. It was her life's work, built from years of sacrifice and struggle, and she had poured everything into it. But despite her hard work, the laughter of others often echoed in her mind. "She'll never make it," people would say. "That little shop won't last." It was hard not to hear it. Grace had always been a fighter. Growing up, she had learned to navigate life's challenges with strength and resilience. But the ridicule she faced as an adult, trying to make something of herself in a world that seemed to demand instant success, was different. It wore her down. Each comment, each sneer, felt like another weight she had to carry. But Grace knew one thing for certain. She wasn't going to give up. Her dream wasn't just about building a business. It was about proving to herself that she could do it. She was determined to show that even small dreams could grow into something extraordinary. One afternoon, as Grace closed the shop for the day, she overheard a conversation between two men who were walking by. They didn't see her, but she heard their words. "That little shop's a joke. She's never going to make it. It's too small, too outdated," one man sneered. "She'll be gone in a year," the other added. Grace froze. The words stung. They hit her deeper than she'd ever admit. She had already given up so much to make this dream a reality, but now she felt as though it was slipping away. She wanted to respond, to explain that this shop wasn't a joke, but she stayed silent. She didn't owe them an explanation. That night, as Grace sat at the counter, she opened her journal, a habit she'd kept since she first opened the shop. She had written in it during moments of doubt, when the world felt too big, too harsh. As she read through the pages of her dreams and goals, she realized something. She was not giving up. She couldn't. She had come too far. The road had been long and the world might laugh, but that didn't matter anymore. The dream she had was worth fighting for. The shop wasn't just a business. It was the embodiment of her perseverance. The words from the men outside didn't define her. They only made her more determined. Grace closed the journal, a soft smile creeping onto her face. "I will show them," she whispered, her voice steady. "One day, they'll see." The journey would be tough, but Grace knew she was ready for it. It wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It was about proving to herself that she could do it no matter the odds. Her dream would become a reality, and she would make sure of it. Months passed, and Grace's corner shop remained steadfast, though still small. The city continued its fast-paced rhythm, the corporate world soaring around her, but Grace kept her focus. Her shop was never going to compete with the larger businesses, but it didn't need to. It had something special, the personal touch, the care, the warmth. Grace wasn't just selling products. She was offering an experience, a piece of herself to every customer who walked in. Her store became a place of comfort, of connection. Slowly, people began to notice. Word of mouth spread, and more customers came through the door, eager to see what the little shop had to offer. The consistent dedication and care Grace put into her work began to pay off. And yet, even as her shop gained a small but loyal following, Grace never let herself become complacent. She still heard the whispers. They hadn't stopped, but now she was able to drown them out. She focused on what mattered: her customers, her work, and the dream she had held on to for so long. Then one day, the unexpected happened. A well-dressed man walked into the shop. He exuded confidence, his sharp suit and briefcase marking him as someone who belonged in the high-rise towers that dotted the skyline. Grace looked up, unsure of what to expect. He introduced himself as Richard Hayes, the CEO of a successful business downtown. He had heard about Grace's shop and was interested in forming a partnership. "I think your shop has the potential to grow," Richard said, his tone respectful but firm. "We work with small businesses to help them expand and reach a larger audience. I think you have something special here, and we'd like to help you grow." Grace stood frozen for a moment. She had dreamed of opportunities like this, but never thought they would come knocking on her door. Richard's offer wasn't just about expanding her business. It was about giving her the tools and the connections to take her shop to the next level. Overwhelmed, Grace listened intently as he outlined the terms of the partnership. As the weeks passed, Grace worked closely with Richard and his company. They helped her improve her marketing strategy, reach new customers, and streamline her operations. It wasn't just about increasing profits. It was about staying true to the essence of her shop while finding new ways to share it with the world. The results were staggering. People from all over the city began to discover Grace's corner shop, and soon the shop's reputation spread far beyond what she had ever imagined. But that wasn't all. Grace received an invitation to an exclusive corporate event, a gathering of industry leaders, business owners, and investors. For Grace, it felt like a dream come true. The event wasn't just an opportunity for her shop to gain recognition. It was a symbol of how far she had come, how much she had achieved against all odds. At the event, Grace stood, taking in the grandeur of the venue. The walls were lined with names, big names, corporate giants, and respected entrepreneurs. Then, as she glanced toward the back of the room, she saw it. Her name. It was displayed on a banner, alongside the names of the biggest players in the industry. Grace felt a lump in her throat. The small shop that had once been mocked and ignored now had a place at the table of success. She realized, standing there in that moment, that she had made it. Not just because of the partnerships, the recognition, or the growth, but because she had never given up. She had kept her faith, worked tirelessly, and stayed true to her vision. They had laughed at her small shop, but now they saw her name on the corporate tower, shining brightly for everyone to see. Grace's story wasn't just about a business. It was about resilience, about fighting for your dream, no matter how small or impossible it seemed. It was about staying true to yourself, even when the world tried to tell you otherwise. And in the end, that was her true success.